Whales play a significant role in maintaining the health of marine life. Unfortunately, because they are so large, they are easily endangered. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service should put in place a whale conservation policy because their current status is not improving. First, I'll explain the biggest effects on whale lives. Second, I'll explain what the whale conservation policy will contain. And third, I will show how organizations have started to implement ways to help whales. First, each year, migrating whales are affected by ship strikes and entanglement in fishing lines. According to Rockwood on the West Coast, strikes of blue, humpback, and fin whales are the major cause of whale deaths. Because whale migration seasons overlap with shipping activity, this is why it is such a big issue. Whale migration starts and they go through the same paths that the ships will go through, which leads to ship strikes of the whales and causes whale deaths. The whale feeding spots are also near ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles that intersect with ship vessel lanes. So when ships are leaving the ports through these lanes, they are running into the areas that whales are stopped to feed, leading to more ship strikes and eventually death of more whales. Specifically, humpbacks are affected by entanglement in fishing lines. According to the Coastal Ocean Research Institute, in southeast Alaska, 52 to 78% of humpbacks will be entangled at least once in their lifetime. Entanglement causes tissue damage and infection or starvation. Because the lines are wrapped so tightly around the whale, it leads to the tissue damage, and because they are stationary, eventually infection. And because they are stationary, they are not able to leave to go feed, which leads to the starvation and eventually death. Second, these problems could be solved by creating a whale conservation fund. The fund should support efforts to alter shipping routes and slow vessels. The World Wildlife Fund is an organization that documents critical feeding and breeding areas as well as their migration routes. With knowledge of this information, it would be easier to slightly alter the routes by knowing where the feeding and breeding areas are. If it wasn't possible to alter these routes a little bit to go around, they would at least know the areas of the ocean that they needed to slow their vessels to reduce the risk of a ship strike on the whales. According to the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, slowing ship vessels will reduce the amount of harmful air emissions, thus improving air quality as well as reducing ship strikes in the long run. The Whale Conservation Fund should also educate people how to better protect whales from entanglement. According to the NOAA, it is estimated that over 300,000 cetaceans die each year worldwide as a result of entanglements. This is a very large number. If more rescuers or scientists were better educated on how to protect or even free these whales, it would significantly reduce the amount that are dying because of entanglement. The safest and most effective way to free whales is a technique called kegging. This is when rescuers will go out on a boat to the area of where the whale is entangled, and they will attach large buoys to the outside of the lines to keep the whale stationary so it is not moving with the current, and it will also help keep the whale afloat so that it is on the surface, which makes it easier to pull the lines away from the whale. Once they have the buoys on the line, they will start to carefully cut away the line from the whale as slow and as safe as possible so that they don't harm the whale any farther. This is the most safe for humans because they are able to get close to the whale easily, and they are able to pull away the lines so that they don't harm the whale as well. Third, some organizations have already made protection efforts. The Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanction have a community-based network. According to NMHS, they have freed 17 whales and recovered gear identified as debris. 17 is not a large number, but with the efforts they're making, the whales they save will continue to grow, and recovering the marine debris will also save more whales because there are less harmful products and fishing lines still in the ocean, which will reduce the amount that are getting harmed by these things. The World Wildlife Fund is another organization that actually offers workshops to residents about how to rescue stranded and entangled whales. According to the World Wildlife Fund, their training includes biology identification, threats, conservation, and rescue techniques. They also collaborate with marine scientists to conduct programs for residents. Because they are working with scientists, they're able to gain the best knowledge and the best techniques for training itself and the best techniques for rescuing later. Today I have discussed the issue of whale endangerment. You now know about the dangers that whales face. You have heard about implementing a whale conservation fund, and you can see how other organizations have already made an impact on whales. Stepping forward and speaking up for whales will help implement a whale conservation